Hello, my name is Miss Valerie, and I work at the CARP branch of the Ottawa Public Library. I'm here today with a winter story called The Mitten, which is an old Ukrainian folk tale. And if you like this story, you're welcome to get yourself a copy from the Ottawa Public Library. So sit back and enjoy the story. One cold winter day, Sasha went out to the forest to gather firewood for his grandmother. It was a freezing cold wind, and all the land was covered with a thick blanket of snow. Sasha put on his boots and his coat and two warm woolen mittens that his grandmother had knitted for him. After Sasha had gathered enough wood, he took off his mittens so that he could tie the wood onto the sled. Well, suddenly, a big gust of wind came along and blew that mitten up, 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 and out of sight. Oh, poor Sasha. Well, that mitten landed in the snow, where it was found by a little chipmunk. What a wonderful thing! So cozy and soft. I'll be warm and safe in there, thought the chipmunk, and climbed inside a new home. A few minutes later, a fluffy white rabbit came bouncing along, and she saw that little mitten and begged, move over, make room for me. But wait, my mitten's too small, you see, said the chipmunk. But the chipmunk could see that rabbit was shivering in the cold wind, and so let them into her house. And that mitten, well, it pulled and it stretched as that rabbit snuck inside. Soon, what was that? An old owl came flying by and spied that mitten. And the owl begged, move over, make room for me. But wait, our mitten's too small, you see, said the chipmunk and the rabbit. But the animals could see that poor owl was shivering in the cold wind, and so let her into their home. And that mitten, well, it pulled, and can you do this with me? It pulled and it stretched as that owl squeezed into that mitten. Soon there was, who was that? A raccoon came shuffling along, and he saw that mitten, and he begged, move over, make room for me. But wait, our mitten's too small, you see, said the chipmunk, the rabbit, and the owl. But the animals could see that poor little raccoon was shivering in the freezing wind, and so let the raccoon into their home. And the mitten, it pulled, do it with me, it pulled and it stretched as that raccoon cuddled inside. Along came, oh, what was that? A red fox. And the red fox spied that mitten, and she cried, move over, make room for me. But wait, our mitten's too small, you see, said the chipmunk, the rabbit, the owl, and the raccoon. But of course, the animals could see that fox was shivering in the cold wind, and so they let her into their home. And the mitten, you ready? Pulled and stretched even more as that fox curled himself inside. Suddenly, along came a great big bear. And that bear saw that cozy looking mitten, and he begged, move over, make room for me. But wait, our mitten's too small, you see, said the chipmunk, the rabbit, the owl, the raccoon, the fox. But of course those animals could see the bear shivering in the cold. So they let him into their home. And that mitten, well, it pulled and it stretched and it pulled and it stretched even more so that the bear could also get inside. Well, that mitten was pretty cramped by now, but at least the animals were warm and they were safe from the freezing wind, and they probably would have spent all winter together if not for a little gray mouse who saw that mitten, and she begged, move over, make room for me." "But wait, our mitten's too small, you see," said the chipmunk, the rabbit, the owl, the raccoon, the fox, the bear. But of course they could see that little mouse shivering in the cold, and they all curled up as tight as they could. Well, that little mouse tried her best to sneak inside that little mitten, and that mitten stretched and it pulled and it got bigger and pulled farther and farther and farther until finally, with a great big bang, the mitten blew up and all the animals scattered in all directions. Well, a few days later, when Sasha went out to gather some more firewood for his grandmother, he found all kinds of little bits of wool that looked an awful lot like the mittens that he had had and that he had lost recently. Little did Sasha know the big adventure that his little mitten had had. "Do you think we should tell him?"